We continue to catch up with our reporters across the country on the current unrest that is raging on in the country. Joining me now is SABC News reporter Jayed-Leigh Paulse from Durban, where there is looting in the city. Jayed-Leigh, a very good evening to you again. Thank you so much for joining us. From the last time we spoke, I saw people still on the rampage, even at, way past after the curfew of 9 p.m. And I suppose it'll give rise to concerns that there is a selective application of the law, because some people are arrested for violating the curfew and some people are not. We see at 11 o'clock, we still see people on the streets. What's happening where you are?
And good evening to the viewers. Yes, from the last time we spoke, some are coming from Umlazi at the Mega City Mall. I'm now in KwaMashu. We've just arrived here. We tried to get to the top of that road where you see that robot to the end of the road system, but unfortunately there are a group of men standing there and they were throwing cars with stones. The scenes that you are seeing right now is the people looting the Itala Center Mall. They're taking what they can and making the way. As you can see, people with trolleys taking as much stock as they can. I've seen beds, similar stunts, similar visuals that we saw from Umlazi, with people taking as much as they can, bedding and beds and fridges, groceries, piling it on their heads as they make their way to their homes. Many also putting the stock inside their cars. It looks like Black Friday, simply. From the last time we spoke, I did mention that I feel like I'm in a movie. I still feel like I'm in a movie. These are the scenes that are playing out in the two biggest townships here in KwaZulu-Natal township, that being Umlazi and KwaMashu. And I'm also hearing reports that there are also looting and protests happening in the Durban CBD. Earlier on, we were there where we saw some of the mayhem that was happening. And I'm also told that a truck has been set alight again on the northbound approach of the Moy River, South Rand Plaza. So people should avoid that if you're coming from that area. Also in Avoca, there's some reports that there are protests happening there. So please be vigilant if you're driving on the roads coming from the Durban CBD into Avoca. Simply where these are live visuals coming from KwaMashu. As you can see, people looting the Itala Center Mall.
Yeah, you're quite right there, Jayed-Leigh. I mean, it does look like a Black Friday madness. And one wonders, where in the world are police? Because we've seen earlier on where you were, there was no police visibility. And even in KwaMashu, there's absolutely no police visibility. Were you able to get in touch with maybe the police chiefs to get their sense of where police are at this point, when they're needed the most?
That's true. I mean, the people are breaking the curfew. Apart from the looting that's currently taking place, the curfew is over. People are supposed to be in their homes, and we're not seeing police visibility on the roads. I did speak to Metro Police spokesperson Parbu Supersad, and he's been telling me that they have their hands full. They are trying to send as much law enforcement out there, but as you can see, Simpiwe, a lot of people on the roads. At Umlazi, it was over 400 people. I couldn't believe my eyes. 400 people storming the Mega City Mall, and I suppose even more after that. It continued for 2.5 hours. We saw a small group of police trying as much as they could to try and contain the madness and the rush. But unfortunately, the large gatherings did, take over. And we're seeing this also play out here in KwaMashu now, with the same, kind of aggression that the people are having here, making sure that they go in and take as much stock as possible. Very, very, it's scary to see what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal, Simpiwe.
Jayed-Leigh, normally shopping centers and malls are protected by private security companies. Have you seen them? Where are they, or were they simply overwhelmed?
That is true. There is private security companies. When we drove from the Durban CBD, there was a private security company that was circulating ultra liquors, and ultra liquors is one of the biggest ones in Morningside. We did also get reports that there was an individual that was shot dead by a particular security company. So there are security companies on site that are trying to deal with the mayhem, seeing that police have their hands full. But ultimately, Simpiwe, this is chaotic. These are the scenes that we are seeing right now. It's absolute pandemonium on the streets of KwaZulu-Natal, and I'm told it's crazy as well in Gauteng. These are pure criminal elements jumping on the bandwagon of the KZN shutdown and Gauteng shutdown, and rallying behind those two shutdown groups that are currently taking place in support of former President Jacob Zuma.
Just looking at these visuals, Jayed-Leigh, I mean, I'm seeing taxis moving up and down along the streets of Durban, and one then wonders what the taxis are doing there, because they're not supposed to be there in the first place. In fact, nobody was supposed to be there after 9 p.m.
That's true. You know, when we were driving from Umlazi to KwaMashu, we actually saw some of the taxis picking up the people who had looted. So I think it's crazy. It doesn't feel like we are in lockdown level 4. It doesn't feel like we actually have a curfew. It's just madness on the streets right now, and I think people are not adhering. And you asked me a question earlier on, and I couldn't answer that question. You asked me, do I believe if we should have the army come in? And I can tell you now, Simpiwe, we do. We do need the army. There needs to be
Indeed.
more law enforcement to contain what is currently happening.
You're quite right there, Jayed-Leigh. I mean, if the police could not do their job, I mean, we need extra reinforcement to, to ensure security of the citizens of South Africa. Jayed-Leigh, I'm going to let you go for now. Thank you so much for giving us that update. All right, that is Jayed-Leigh Paulse, our reporter. She is in the Durban CBD, well, KwaMashu, as she mentioned, and she's still seeing, images of people looting some of the shops.